campus of West Deptford High School in Westville, New Jersey, the GCEN presents South Jersey Group 2 football semifinals. Tonight, the West Deptford Eagles host the Buena Chiefs. Hello again, everyone. Rob Christ along with my partner, Fred Swartz. A cold, crisp evening here at West Deptford. Great night for football. We'll have beautiful, cold weather. Two teams that like to hit. The hits will be a little bit crisper. Hopefully the play will be just as clean as we've seen in past years. These are two teams that know each other very well. They faced each other quite a bit. West Deptford seemingly owning a bit of an advantage over Buena, 4-0 in their last four matchups. Two teams that are ready for playoff action. Two teams that are going to have their defense lead the way. Fred, let's first talk about that Buena defense. This is a team that has always been successful in the postseason, and of course defense should lead the way.
And that's how you build your championship teams. It starts defense first, kicking game second, offense comes around third. Buena has been fortunate. They've had a great group of athletes come through 4 years ago as freshmen. They stayed together as a team. They play together. They work together. They're going to be a real force for West Deptford because they play so disciplinedly well. They've only allowed a touchdown in almost every one of their games this year. They held a tremendous Cinnamon offensive team that had scored 45 points the week before against Pemberton, a Group 3 semifinalist, to only 7 points.
Well, Buena maybe got a bit of a boost because Karan Dozier for West Deptford unexpectedly unable to play tonight, and that's going to be tough for this West Deptford offense.
Well, Clyde Folsom always builds his team around the concept of team. So yes, he'll miss Karan Dozier, but there's always somebody to step up. That'll probably be Gio Gismondi to step up, or any back that they have, but they're going to really rely on their quarterback, Nick Diaco.
Well, first let's talk about that Buena offense. They have a three-headed monster, really led by two guys, but if there's one guy you have to look to, it's Sammy Crouch.
Yeah, he's the typical fullback that you want. He's going to be a bear. He's going to gain yardage for you every time. Then they have like Thunder and Lightning. He'll be the Thunder. Lightning will be Quadir Albright, who can scat it to the outside.
You mentioned Nick Diaco for West Deptford. He's going to have to carry a bigger burden tonight without Dozier.
And he's kind of an interesting guy because he's a defensive end in that situation. Kind of odd for a quarterback to be that way. He likes to run the ball. West Deptford's only thrown 34 times the entire season. So you know what to expect. They're going to line up, they're going to run that wing tee, and they're going to come right at you.
This is going to be old-fashioned football, just head-to-head, nose-to-nose. Beautiful facility. It's just redone here at West Deptford. Always a raucous crowd. Should be a good one. Stick around. We'll have it for you in just a moment.
Yep, and it's Albright's on the other side.
Okay. Welcome back to West Deptford High School, your Atlantic City Electric Game of the Week. About to get underway. West Deptford will be kicking it off. They deferred. Buena has elected to receive. It's Jarrett Jackson and Kadir Albright back to receive the opening kickoff. It's a slow roller, and it sits at about the 20-yard line, picked up and returned to about the 30. First down and 10, Chiefs.
And the excitement is in the air, Rob. There's nothing better than high school playoff football in November. Winner goes on to the sectional championship. The loser just thinks about Thanksgiving.
You know, first thing that comes to mind, Fred, walking out on that field before we started, still seems like the turf is settling. It's not a fast track.
Yeah, I was really surprised they decided to come out and play their last two games here because you usually let it surface for a year, but we'll see what happens.
There you see the quarterback, Tyler Rainier, for Buena. First down and 10, and the handoff still on his feet across midfield, and finally pushed out of bounds is Kadir Albright.
Quadrir is definitely, he's just come back last week after being out for 2 games. He's the speed in their offense. Sammy Crouch will be the power, and the quarterback, Tyler Rainier, he'll be the person that'll be the maestro of the whole machine. Very typical football.
Kadir, one of the many seniors on this Buena Chiefs team. This is a team that head coach Jonathan Caputo said is very hungry. And it looks like we have movement here. So this will likely back up Buena. This is a team that is led by the senior class, and they felt like they deserved a little bit better fate last year in the playoffs, and they want to take it all this year.
And they've been very successful in the Cape Atlantic National, playing the likes of Bridgeton and Holy Spirit. They want to show off how well they play football. It's been a 4-year run here for Buena.
So Buena will start first down and 15, backed up at their own 43-yard line. We're just underway at West Deptford. Handoff inside, and just no running room there. We mentioned before, Fred, that these are two defenses that are very strong, two defenses that typically are tough to break through. Sammy Crouch found that out easily.
And it's very interesting, too, because both teams run the same offense, so you're practicing against your offense all week. You really get to see, and no, that was just nothing more than a belly right there to the big fullback, and West Deptford was ready for it.
We're going to see a lot of running tonight. Second down, 13. And right on cue, they'll throw the ball. Inside has a man into the 45-yard line, caught by Jake Maxwell, and he's one of the leaders on defense, but you can see he also has excellent hands.
Right, Maxwell, very, very good name in Buena football. They've had coaches, players go through with the name of Maxwell, and giving Clyde a little bit to think about right there by throwing the ball right in that situation.
Well, you mentioned Maxwell's father, a coach on this team. Third down. They'll look to the sidelines for the signal. Tyler Rainier running the offense with Crouch in the backfield. They give it to Albright. Albright cuts inside, and he is met. And I don't even think he made it back to the line of scrimmage.
Right, and again, great play. When you watch the defending the wing T, your linebackers and your defensive end have to be the strong points of the game. The linebackers have to watch guards. The defensive end has to know his assignment, because that's who you key off. Great move here by Buena. They're going to punt the ball, give West Deptford a long field to go to.
So Buena picks up a quick first down, but the motion penalty really hurt them. See our first punt. Low snap picked up, end over end punt taken at the 20-yard line and cut down immediately. Maybe a 1-yard return, and that was West Deptford's Ryan Bagilvio.
And now we're going to get to see if there's any changes done with West Deptford. With Karan Dozier not being in the lineup, we'll see if the game plan changes for Coach Folsom.
Well, obviously, this is a West Deptford team that has had success over the years, and you don't have success without depth. That will be tested tonight. There you see head coach Clyde Folsom, who has just done an exceptional job here at West Deptford. First down, 10. Right up the gut, and again, we talk defense. We're seeing it here early.
And again, neither team is going to probably do anything that the other team doesn't already expect. Talking to Coach Folsom, and I think this is a real tribute to his team. He said this is the most fun he's had coaching in all his years of coaching. He said it's a team that's young, that's going to get even better and better as time gets along.
Second down, they give him about 1.5 yards.
Now you can see Nick Diaco with 838 yards and 11 TDs out of the quarterback position.
There you see 290, 11 for 32. They're going to rely on Diaco, and Diaco keeps, and just not a whole lot there. He'll pick up maybe 2. It'll be a third down and about 6.
And as our viewers watch the wing T's based on deception and good angles blocking. That play is called a belly keep, in which the quarterback reverse pivots out, rides the fullback, and then follows the fullback up into the hole.
Third down now for Diaco. He's a tough kid, a force on defense, and someone that Buena obviously has to account for. 3rd and 6. Diaco rolls to his right, keeps, tries to cut it back inside, and he will lose yards.
Well, Rob, what we said before the game is it's all about defense. defense wins championships. Defense creates opportunities for you. So far, you're seeing that both teams' defense are the key to their strength right now.
Jake Maxwell a part of that play again. Maxwell just a hard-nosed kid, demands respect according to head coach Jonathan Caputo, and someone that the players really tend to rally around. First punt here for the Eagles, and back to return the punt at his own 45 is Kadir Albright. He calls the fair catch over his head, takes it at about the 38-yard line. So a nice punt here. And again, the defense, the story here early.
And Rob, the other thing we talked about is you build your championships around defense and kicking game. And West Deptford showed a lot of that right off the bat with a punt that put them back in the, I thought Buena was going to get great field position. Now they're going to have to work from the 38-yard line.
We talked about that last week at Paulsboro. They've always had a great special teams coach. Their kicking game has always been exceptional. No different here at West Deptford.
That's very true.
First down and 10 for the Chiefs. Albright again in motion. Up the middle, it's Crouch. And Crouch stopped at about the 44-yard line. Pickup of about 6.
As an old running back coach, you have to really appreciate Crouch there. He's the big fullback that just gets low, delivers the blow. Hopefully by the end of the game, he delivers enough punishment to the linebackers they don't want any parts of him.
Once again, you see Tyler Rainier, a senior, 5'8", 160 pounds, who will engineer this offense, looking over to the sideline. Second down, Albright in motion, and ball is loose. Fortunately, Crouch falls on it, and that will result in a loss of 2 yards. That was a play that looked like it never stood a chance from the get-go.
No, great read down by the inside people. We used to call them the TNTs at West Deptford. As you can see it here, just a great play there by number 72.
Johnny
McGuire, yeah, that's great defense.
Well, again, a loss of 2 yards will bring up a long third down. We'll call it 7. Chiefs 1 for 1 via the air. Rainier back to pass with time, throws it, has his outlet, but that won't be enough for a first down. He continues to fight his way forward, but stopped at about the 44, and once again, we'll have a punt. Well, last week we saw a great exhibition of 2 punters. It was like a tennis match, except punters.
In an incredible win situation, too. That situation. Right now, both teams looks like they're going to be playing field position on the punts, and then great defense.
Buena now 0 for 2 on third down. And again, Baglivo back to receive the punt for West Deptford. The punt is away, end over end. Baglivo calls the fair catch, and he takes it at about his 32-yard line. We talked about special teams play in the kicking game. You can see that through attrition, West Deptford's picking up a little bit of yardage that way.
And that's correct. You're always trying to get positive yardage off a change of possession. That's exactly what's happening here. If you watch it in here, you can see the offensive points per game allowed. A tremendous situation there on West Deptford. 46 points in that situation. Points allowed per game, only 8.6. Buena's not much better. Not much worse. They're both great defensive football teams.
First down and 10. Diaco hands it off. And into the secondary, finally cut down. Look, Dave Hamilton.
6-12 on the play. First down, West Deptford.
And that's the initial first down of the game. Dave Hamilton is going to be the step-up back tonight, replacing Quan Dozier, but also they will look heavily on number 20, Gio Gismondi. Seems like there's always a Gismondi on the West Deptford teams, who they say is a throwback player and a tough nut.
First and 10. Diaco hands off again, right up the gut to Gismondi. Gismondi cut down, and he'll pick up about 12.
And right on cue. That's just tough running in a little bit of a misdirection there run by West Deptford. You can see Gismondi, 79 carries, 625 yards, and 7 touchdowns coming into this game, and has now led the West Deptford Eagles into Buena territory.
First and 10. We said we'd see a lot of hard-nosed running. That's just what we've had. Clock inside of 5 minutes. West Deptford in Buena territory for the first time this evening. Diaco, again, hands off, and this time, absolutely nothing there. Stood and stopped by a number of Chiefs, including Jordan Miro.
It was interesting also talking to the Buena coaches before the game. They really emphasized how disciplined they had to be on defense, because it's easy to try to key on one player, and the wing T will just give you fits if you try to do that.
And keeping in that theme, one of the things that head coach John Caputo talked about was just how disciplined this West Deptford team is.
Absolutely. They're mirror images.
Diaco keeps. Diaco hit and stopped. Maybe back to the line of scrimmage or a yard thereafter, but Dan Dormanen, the big junior defensive lineman, on the stop.
And we got to see a little bit different at that time. Diaco, as you can see here, lined up almost in like the pistol or the shotgun formation. It was a direct run set up for him, but well defended by the Chiefs.
So West Deptford has yet to take to the air, and it looks like we have a passing situation for Diaco. Again, big kid, 6'3", 240-pound senior. He'll work out of the shotgun. Two receivers split left. Diaco, play action pass, gets flushed out of the pocket, and he's just going to let it sail out of bounds as there's nothing there.
The one thing Clyde Folsom always does is adequately prepares his team. He spends hours and hours on preparation, and you can see Diaco was taught if there's nobody open, throw it to him on the sidelines.
Well, both of these teams 0 for 2 on third down. And again, West Deptford will look to punt and pin Kadir Albright and Buena back in their own end. Punt, high kick. Albright is going to let it bounce. And again, you kind of get a sense of just how high that ball bounced, how soft that turf is given the height of the punt.
Yeah, and almost like it was like a spin shot you play in golf. It hardly went anywhere. Very difficult in night football to be a return man on those two, because it gets so high, it can go through the lights, and you could be lost in the game.
You know, we mentioned before that these are two teams that like to run the football, but Buena has shown the ability to pass so far, 2 for 2.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting that has become a weapon, because West Deptford has only thrown the ball 36 times the whole year. So we'll see what transpires.
Again, it's Rainier, your quarterback. Albright in motion. Rainier keeps, jumps over the carnage on the ground, picks up a yard or two.
And I think you've been right on target. What we have, both teams now feeling each other out, probing to see what they can do. But this is going to be a game where a break probably will make a big factor in the game.
You know, again, getting back to that turf, it's hard to break the big play because the turf is so soft. Second down, we'll call it 8. Rainier once again looking over to the sideline, getting the offensive signals. He has Crouch in the backfield. We talked about that three-headed monster. Of course, Crouch and Albright. Albright with the carry.
And a great tackle in there by David Hamilton. He just stood his ground, fought off the blocker, and just lowered the boom on the ball carrier.
Third down and 9.
So a loss of 1 results in a 3rd down and 9 for the Chiefs offense. They are 0 for 2 on 3rd down. They've been successful via the air, and again, Rainier will throw the football, throws it, and this time it falls as he looks for DJ Velasquez. Again, we'll have another punt.
And when we talked to both coaches before the game, both of them said that their keys to success was ball control, disciplined defense, and control of the line of scrimmage. Both of them are doing it on defense.
Well, we're still in the first quarter, and this will be our 5th punt of the game.
Baglavo set the return.
So the Chiefs, again, looking to punt it away, and Baglavo back to return for West Deptford. Low snap, punt end over end, bounces at the 40-yard line, and As you mentioned, it looked like a sand wedge.
It stops dead, and very close. If you watch the low snap coming back, the punter is very close to putting his knee down on the ground, which would have put it down about the 8 line. But a big plus here for West Deptford. They're going to start on Buena's 40-yard line, short field to go for points.
Again, because the field is so soft, those low punts in a way have helped Buena. The low snaps have helped Buena, the turf itself, because the ball's going to just sit right there for him.
Yeah, it's not going to bounce away. Very few first downs in this first half. Let's see what happens in this drive.
Well, we mentioned that West Deptford continues to win the kicking game. Diaco rolls to his right, has room, he'll tuck it under. To the 35, cuts across the grain, then cuts back again. Diaco cut down at about the 28-yard line. And we mentioned that he's a big guy, but he's showing those nimble feet.
And great vision. It was just a simple waggle pass to come up. No one was open. He made a great cutback against the grain, and then his toughness takes over from there. As you can see, you can watch. Here's the waggle. He sets up. Nobody's open. Drops down, protects the football, makes that cutback against the grain, and then it's all great vision to get yards.
Gain of about 12, 1st and 10 at the 28-yard line for West Deptford. Diaco hands to Gismondi. And again, a nice pickup. Call it about 4.
And almost getting down in a situation where a field goal could come into play in this particular game. Both teams have kickers. Both teams rely on them. And that could be a major part of this game.
Well, if they keep the ball on the ground, the likelihood is that this will be the last play of the first quarter. Again, a tightly played first quarter. Much as anticipated or as advertised, 2 outstanding defenses, 2 teams that just aren't trying to trick you. They're going to come right at you. Diaco, 2 receivers set to the right. Diaco hands it off and just nothing doing inside.
Well-disciplined defense at Bob Buena because there were backs going every different direction. There were guards falling in every different direction. The defense stayed at home. Sets up a interesting situation where I think West Deptford will let the clock run out and start period number 2.
Well, it's been a battle of 2 defenses in this first quarter. We'll step away. Your Atlantic City Electric Game of the Week is scoreless.
Great job, West Deptford Marching Band.
Welcome back to West Deptford scoreless. Eagles and Chiefs. 3rd down for West Deptford. Diaco hands, and very close to the first down will be David Hamilton.
Some early stats here from half number 1. Gismondi with 5 attempts for 19 yards. Diaco carried the ball 4 times for 15 yards. And now Dave Hamilton with a great start on half number 2 to give a very, very makeable first down situation here for West Deptford.
4th down and 1. Ball spotted just inside the 18-yard line. This is right around field goal position, but they're going to try to exert their will. Keep an eye on Diaco. Hands to Gismondi, and he'll have more than enough for the first down.
When you're always in that situation, you want to call your best play and give the ball to your best back. Gismondi is that tough kid that's going to protect the football, and he's going to will himself to get that first down.
I don't know if it's his gait, but Gismondi looks like he's kind of hobbling a little bit.
It could be. I was looking at the situation. He definitely gets banged when he goes through those lines.
You see Maxwell again laying out a lick. We mentioned he is a key part of this Chiefs defense. Clock continues to move. We're scoreless here at West Deptford. 1st down and 10 for the Eagles at the 11-yard line, and penalty flags here.
And that'll be an encroachment there on Buena, so the ball will be advanced 5 yards. Sometimes a team gets so used on defense, gets so used to a team going on the first down, you change the cadence, and that's what you're going to see right here. He probably changed the cadence. There we go. In goes number 58, and 5 yards go to West Deptford.
That's a huge mental mistake given the field position here.
Correct. Definitely makes things a lot easier for your offense.
So now it's 1st down and 5 at the 6-yard line, and it gives Diaco a variety of options here to try to run it or go via the air. Diaco will hand off Diaco, and very close to the goal line, but just short is Alex Malcolm.
Brought down just short of the goal line.
And again, Clyde never hardly changes his offense down at the goal line. He runs that same offense. That was just a power-off tackle by Malcolm. They're down close to the 1 yard line. They can also get a first down.
Well, here you
And
see
it is.
They go to Malcolm in the middle, and he ends up getting that first down. First and goal from the 1 yard line. And no signal yet. Gismondi. Touchdown.
Eagles.
First blood has been struck by West Deptford. Nice little drive after a good field position after a short punt has allowed the West Deptford Eagles to take a 6-0 lead.
Well, again, a critical 5 yard penalty there, and Buena pays the price.
West Deptford's extra point situation used to be called the old swinging gate. You check to see if the team reacts to it, then you set up and set for the extra point.
Point after is up, and the kick is good. So West Deptford jumps out to a 7-0 lead. There you see some of the West Deptford cheerleaders and the smoke that you see emanating from the snack bar. They do a mean cheeseburger here.
I was going to say, they have some of the best food around. There's no ifs, ands, or buts on that one. Now, the first blood being drawn by West Deptford. It's not panic situation for Buena. You just continue to run your offense, do the things that you hopefully have been successful for you all year. And West Deptford, it's just adrenaline in their blood that they can score off the Buena defense.
There you see. Listen, that's the job you want tonight, right there.
Absolutely. You're going to be nice and warm, and you won't be hungry at the end of the night.
That's correct. So, as Eddie Murphy used to say, that's a fire.
That's a fire.
So West Deptford will kick it away. Interesting, and speaking with head coach Jonathan Computer before the game, he said one of the keys tonight is definitely going to be special teams play. And you can't argue with the fact that West Deptford has won that thus far.
Yeah, they've done a great job punting the football, and they're just swarming after forcing everything to be either a fair catch or a drop.
So again, to kick it away for West Deptford, Mike Bilodeau and Kadir Albright along with Jared Jackson. It's going to be Albright who takes it at the 15. Albright through the 30. Albright finally cut down. A nice return and spotted at about the 38-yard line.
First look to see at the speed that Quadir Albright brings in. We're going to get to see the touchdown right here again. It's just nothing more than a belly that goes to Gismondi. Power straight ball. You follow your guards. Into the end zone you go. Touchdown, West Deptford.
Well, as you mentioned, both of these teams like to hammer it on the ground. And no rush. Plenty of football here. West Deptford on top, 7-0. Albright gets the pitch. Cuts across the 40. Albright in the open across the 40. Has one man to beat. He'll cut it inside. He won't beat him. But a big pickup after Alex Malcolm stops Kadir Albright.
And you can see the energy he showed at the end of the game. Little wrinkle that Buena threw in, a little toss off the wing tee set. Got Albright outside one-on-one, and he could show off his lightning fast speed.
Well, the biggest play of the night results in a first down deep inside of West Deptford territory. Albright on the 42-yard run puts the Chiefs right back in the driver's seat. Rainier looking over to the sideline for the signals. He has Crouch in the backfield. Albright in motion. And it's going to be Crouch, and Crouch banged down after a pickup of about 4.
Now, I was going to say, it's interesting. You were talking to some of the coaches about how their field goal kicker and where they trusted him. I think they're pretty much within that range now.
Absolutely. Of course, at this point, they don't want to settle for it. They've been unsuccessful on third down, but they've been relatively long third downs. Let's see what they can do here on second down and 6. Again, Crouch, your lone running back. Albright split to the left. Rainier looks for the offensive signals. Karan Dozier, as I mentioned, out of the game tonight. Inside handoff and close to the first down. I was just going to mention Karan Dozier out of the game, but that has not mitigated the West Deptford running attack. Both of these teams have been very successful on the ground.
And we saw our first little wrinkle in the situation. Buena went to an unbalanced line. They set the wing to the unbalanced side and then ran the fullback back to the unbalanced side, figuring that West Deptford would adjust and move everyone one down.
Well, we mentioned that they are 0 for on third down, 0 for 3. But a very makeable 3rd down and 1 here inside of 8 minutes remaining. Ball on the 11-yard line. And the offensive line looking to push forward. Rainier finally gets the whistle, and it looks like they're going to spot him just inside the 10-yard line. That'll be enough for the first down.
Again, unbalanced line shown by Buena, and they went straight quarterback sneak. Rainier said, I'm going to get the yard. He got it. First and goal now for West Deptford. We have a timeout on the field called by West Deptford.
This is always interesting because in watching West Deptford football, this is something that Clyde Folsom frequently likes to do. If there's something he doesn't like, or maybe it's just kind of to refocus the team, he's not afraid to call a timeout in situations that many other coaches wouldn't. And I think it's very wise because obviously you're in a situation we saw on the other side of the field where Buena made a mental mistake and it cost them dearly. Here he's going to refocus his team and make sure that they give themselves the best opportunity to keep Buena out of the end zone.
Absolutely. Clyde's a tremendous preparer, and there isn't anything about the game he doesn't spend hours on. I think if he noticed something that wasn't being done correctly, he might have gone out and said, look, they're running unbalanced line. This is the adjustment we have to make, and now they're going to be at the goal line. Also interesting in this situation now, with 2 running teams, you could pretty stack it in right here now. These yards are going to be hard to come by.
And again, your point being that that's what that 5-yard penalty, how it really hurt him previously. The pitch, and just not a lot of room for Gerald Jackson.
Yeah, they tried to go that time to the pitch to the strong side where there's an extra linebacker. West Deptford made the adjustment, moved somebody out. Watch this quick toss right here. Guard out in front. Number 7 there, Albright trying to make the block, but great swimming football. Tell you what, so far in the game, Mr. Hamilton is all over the field.
And Alex Malcolm has also made his imprint. 2nd down and goal. Again, Rainier looking over for the offensive signals. It is Crouch, your lone running back. Handoff inside, and it's Crouch. And absolutely nothing doing.
And now sets up a very interesting scenario for Buena because it is 3rd down. And it'll set up, if they don't get the touchdown, will you try the field goal to get points, or will you keep going trying to keep West Deptford deep in their own territory?
Well, we've seen some success via the air. They are 2 for 3 tonight.
Crouch right now has 59 yards on 5 carries. He seems like a good option right here.
And Rainier opts to call timeout here. He doesn't see the defensive alignment that would be successful. Now he's pointing to his elbow. I don't know if we have an injury or an equipment malfunction or whatever it may be, but obviously a critical play in this football game.
Yeah, and you made a very good point earlier. That was probably a play to try to cause West Deptford to move, and he didn't. And that would big 5-yard penalty on Buena helped West Deptford score the touchdown.
So each team trading timeouts here, as you can see on the screen, each with 2 remaining. West Deptford came into tonight defeating Overbrook last week, a Colonial Conference foe. Fred, the Colonial Conference has finally opted, you being a former athletic director in the Colonial Conference, has opted to go to the West Jersey Football League. Now everybody in South Jersey is in the same conference.
Yes, and they just recently released all their divisions. They're going to have 16 divisions, 15 of them with 6 teams, 1 with 5. Buena's going to be in the team with 5. I think it's great for the teams for their crossover games in the Colonial Conference.
Particularly for West Deptford, a team that really needs to play up to gain some additional power points. So, 3rd down and 7 on the 7-yard line. right up the gut, and absolutely nothing there. Interesting call, as again, a bit of a conservative call, and also a rough angle for this field goal attempt should they opt to go for the field goal.
Yeah, and I think it looks like now the move's going to be to take our quarterback, Mr. Tyler Rainier, and have him kick the field goal, try to get points on the board because they may be hard to come by tonight.
Maxwell is your holder. You know, whenever you have the quarterback as your kicker, that just kind of raises a red flag to your defense as well.
Direct snap to that kicker could really cause issues right now.
Clock continues to move inside of 5 minutes, and now we have a penalty flag. I say 5 minutes, 5 minutes and 40 seconds remaining, but we'll see who this is against. It looks like it's going to be a delay of game.
Yeah, I think that's what it's going to be. Actually, that would play into the hands of Buena, give them a better angle at the uprights. In the old days, you used to be able to refuse that penalty, but now I think you have no choice. So it'll just set it back up, and it gives a much better angle for Rainier to kick the field goal.
Tyler Rainier up for a 27-yard field goal.
So it will now be a 27-yard attempt, and he'll have to hustle. Lines it up. Again, Maxwell, your holder. Kick is up, and the kick has plenty of leg, and it's good.
So Buena gets what they needed, points on the board. West Deptford feels very fortunate. It was 3 and not 6.
So 27-yard field goal by Rainier. On that kick, you kind of get a sense, as you mentioned before, these are two kickers who are obviously an offensive weapon.
When the Cape Atlantic picked their all-star kicker, it was Tyler Rainier. So you can tell he's good, and West Deptford always has that situation. I think it's kind of interesting now. That drive was a booster for Buena because it now showed they could move the ball, even though they didn't score. So.
And, you know, conversely, I think you talk about boosters or moral victories. Conversely, I think West Deptford has to feel good. Finally, you know, they bent, but they didn't break.
That's true. And it was first and goal inside the 10-yard line, and they held them to 3. So that's a victory from itself. And there's where you might say, when that timeout was called by Clyde Folsom, and he went out and explained things to him, that pretty much shut the door.
I agree 100%. And I've seen Clyde Folsom do that very thing innumerable times. And there's a reason why West Deptford has been so successful over the years. The personnel changes, but the results do not.
237 career victories for Clyde Folsom, and he's got 203 at West Deptford. Wow. Fabulous situation.
You know, we were talking before the game, Fred, and most people don't remember that West Deptford was kind of a patsy for a very long time until Clyde Folsom came to town.
I was really fortunate. I got to coach the first year that Clyde Folsom was here. The changing of the attitude was incredible.
Squib kick and taken on a knee at about the 20-yard line. So good result for Buena. First down and 10 for West Deptford here. 5:35 remaining. And I think anytime there's a score, the next series is always very important.
I think that's a very good point because right now Buena's on a high. They just moved the ball. They scored points. West Deptford could put it right back in their face. There's no doubt about it.
We mentioned before that these are two teams that really like to run the football, and thus far Diaco has not completed a pass. Split wide left is Paz Gismondi, not Gio Gismondi. And Diaco is in a world of hurt.
It looked almost like a designed quarterback rollout run, and well defended by Buena. And in the other good situation is Diaco tried to cut back and go the opposite way. The defensive end stayed at home, made a nice tackle.
So a loss of 5 yards results in a 2nd down and 15. We mentioned that West Deptford thus far unsuccessful through the air. We'll see whether or not they opt to go that way. Instead, they will hand it off to Hamilton, and Hamilton is not going anywhere.
David Hamilton.
And for those of you that love the wing tee, that's your typical wing tee sweep going to the outside. Again, they attack the defensive end. The defensive end for Buena that time held his ground and stopped the sweep.
Dan Dormanen has been a factor defensively here early for Buena. 3rd down and 14. And this is a play where maybe you want to be conservative because you do not want to turn the ball over here.
And I think they've shown they have a very, very good kicking game. Just punt it back and play defense.
Diaco will work out of the shotgun. 2 receivers split left. Diaco, play action pass, gets pressure, throws it deep, and that will be out of the outstretched arms of Paz Gismondi, bringing up a 4th down. A big, big stand by Buena.
It was, but I'll tell you what, I was very impressed with the arm that time in Diaco. When you watch him, he'll take 2 steps back, sets his feet, throws the ball deep down the field. The receiver was open. It was just overthrown, but a great arm showed there by Diaco.
Well, you see some of the speed of Paz Gismondi as he blew right by Tyler Rainier in the secondary. So West Deptford again will punt it away. And it's a high kick that will bounce at about the 40-yard line. And as we've seen tonight, it's not going very far after that.
And great field position setting up here for the Buena Chiefs. Only 40-yard field to work with, and some confidence in the fact that they've moved the ball.
Well, you like defense, then this is your game. Thus far, both teams have combined 1 for 8 on 3rd down. And this is the best field position to start a drive for Buena. Ball spotted right at the 40-yard line at 1st down and 10. We have seen Rainier has a big leg. They can move the football, and they will with Crouch. Crouch falls forward, and he'll be very close to that 1st down, depending on the spot.
And great blocking up front. Crouch with great vision on that belly, just runs it right through, and he's right into the secondary. Again, it's all part of this wing T probing and finding out exactly what's going to work.
They give him enough for the 1st down, so a 10-yard gain for Crouch. 1st and 10 at the 30-yard line. Here's Albright. He cuts it inside. Albright into the secondary, and again a big pickup for the Chiefs.
So every big play so far that's been run by Buena has gone to the right side. And watch again, watch Albright just make the cut, that wing T cut, come right down, lower that shoulder, and just get as many yards as you can before he ran into West Deptford's number 45, Kyle Garrison.
That was a great look by our camera as you saw Crouch opening up a hole to block on Gismondi. Kadir Albright in motion. It's Crouch. Crouch bulling his way forward. Pickup of about 7 or 8. And right now you're just seeing the power running of the big guy that we spoke about in the open, Sammy Crouch, the 6'2", 215-pound senior.
You know, I call him Thunder, and part of the Thunder and Lightning part of Buena. You can just watch him lower the shoulder and go straight ahead.
2nd down here for Buena. And not a whole lot there.
And very, very fortunate because as Tyler Rainier went to hand the ball off, he was losing his footing coming back, and it was almost a disaster play there for Buena.
Maxwell gets the carry. A little bit of a surprise. They've had success with Crouch and Kadir Albright.
Sometimes we as coaches outthink ourselves, and we try to do that thing that nobody expects.
So 3rd and 5. In motion, it's Albright. And Albright with the football, cuts it outside. Albright angling towards the end zone, but he'll find his way out of bounds, but he will have enough for the 1st down.
And it's going to be 1st and goal to go. A great quickness again shown by Albright. He's just been the mainstay in this attack right now to the outside with Crouch being to the inside. Watch it again. Watch, it's a jet sweep. When we get a chance to see it, was a jet sweep being run where you fake the inside action, you go outside, and Albright just got to that corner very quickly.
Well, West Deptford, there you go.
That's the jet sweep. Get outside, make your move. He made a great move to make the defender miss. Lower that shoulder, get straight ahead, and get his, well, that's a great dive for the end zone, but protect the football, my friend.
1st and goal. Rainier fumbles the football. And a great defensive play by Mike Olt. And just in the nick of time, Rainier able to pick up that football.
The best thing that happened to Buena that time is they get to snap it again. because that had disaster written all over it. You can see he mishandles the snap, and then he gets leveled by Mr. Old.
2nd and goal from the 5-yard line. Split wide left for Buena is Cruz. The pitch, Albright hits, still drives forward and pounded out of bounds. He'll be shy of the goal line.
And watching this again, Mike Diaco with a great job at the defensive end, just stood Albright straight up as he tried to lower that shoulder and go into the end zone.
Again, there you get a shot at Gismondi. It just looks like he's a little banged up.
2-yard gain on the play.
So a 2-yard gain will bring up a 3rd down and goal.
Interesting situation here because conventional wisdom says give the ball to your fullback and just let him go straight ahead. We'll see if that's what they do or they try to go back outside again.
You can see this drive has consumed a lot of time. We're inside of 40 seconds remaining in the first half. A critical play. Rainier hands it off to Crouch, and he is in for the touchdown.
Great effort right time. Crouch wanted the football, wanted the touchdown, and there was no way he was going to be stopped in the end zone. Great momentum drive again by Buena as they take the lead 9-7.
Crouch with the 3-yard TD with just 30.5 seconds remaining in this first half. And Buena will head to the locker room with a lot of momentum, provided that nothing out of the ordinary goes on during special teams. We'll take a look at Rainier to attempt the point after here. His kick is up, and it's good. So it is 10-7 now. Buena on top. Let's take a look.
Here it is, straight ahead on the belly. Mr. Crouch just wanted that touchdown. He just lowered his shoulders, stepped over the line, and scores. Now, it's interesting, though, West Deptford is going to get the ball to start off the 3rd quarter. So you go in, you make your adjustments. You know Buena is going to feel good about themselves having the lead, but there's an awful lot of football still to be played.
There you see the drive consuming 40 yards. Crouch with the 3-yard touchdown run. And Buena with a little bit more success now on 3rd down. They are now 3 for 7 on the evening with that touchdown run. I don't think anybody was surprised it was going to Crouch there.
Again, best back, best play. Just go straight ahead and try to get the yards. And we're also seeing when two teams run the football, the first half goes fast.
A little bit different from last week.
Yeah, absolutely.
So back to receive for West Deptford is Paz Gismondi. And Crouch has had himself a successful first half, 9 carries and 81 yards, and that's just what you want. That 1-2 punch, thunder and lightning of the Chiefs. And the ball is hit by a West Deptford player on the squib kick.
Yeah, whether it was designed or not, it almost was disaster for West Deptford because it hit the foot of one of their up men going back.
We saw last week an inadvertent kick resulted in a big play that Pensgrove was unable to cash in on. And now with 28.1 seconds, a team that typically likes to keep it on the ground, you kind of assume they're going to be very conservative here and regroup at halftime.
Right. They do have 2 timeouts that are left in that, but Clyde is very much of a person that doesn't want to do something that's going to backfire on him. I think you'll just see straight offense here.
And Diaco rolls across the middle, hit, and just like that, West Deptford in Buena territory.
And just like that, Diaco to David Hamilton. That was an incredible play, and he was wide open on that play.
It was actually Kyle Garrison on the reception.
Sorry.
And there you see Garrison. He paid the price as Cruz laid out the lick. And West Deptford calls their second timeout with 16.2 seconds. And even if West Deptford doesn't come away with any points here, you kind of feel that, okay, we can move the football.
Yeah, and I think so far every time that West Deptford, except for the one they threw out of bounds, a receiver's been open. Receiver has definitely been open. So that's, I think what he would like to do here is somehow get down quickly because he's got a timeout to use. Even if they get a field goal and make it 10-10 at half, that would be a huge victory.
Absolutely. I mean, if you're Buena, you're probably telling your secondary to play soft coverage. That's going to allow something underneath call a timeout, and maybe you get an opportunity to kick a field goal.
And boy, I hated that. The old prevent defense only does one thing.
Prevents you from winning.
I gotcha.
First down and 10. Diaco rolls to his right. He'll throw deep into coverage. It is caught. And fine catch by Alex Malcolm, puts them into field goal position.
And that was basically what we call wheel route, where the outside receiver goes straight down the field, the inside receiver bends to the sidelines and straight up, and Diaco put that right on the money.
So with 8 seconds left, we'll see whether or not they opt to go for the field goal here. A reception of 43 yards, and West Deptford right back in business. Now, you're kind of playing with fire here with just 8 seconds left. If this play ends up taking a long time, the ball comes loose and there's a scramble for it, whatever it may be, then all of a sudden your hopes are dashed. But again, Folsom showing a lot of confidence in Diaco. You're probably going to throw the football here and maybe just get rid of it quickly and hope for the best.
Senior quarterback, great athlete. He'll know exactly what to do. However,
so the delay of game may result in West Deptford just playing it safe then and kicking the field goal. We'll see what happens.
Now, it's interesting. If this was a college game, the half would be over, because a penalty against the offense is a 10-second runoff, or a timeout has to be called.
That's correct.
So
they would have burnt their last time out. So they will run a play here. Diaco keeps the handoff. Gismondi, and they call timeout with 2.1 seconds left.
Tackled at the 8-yard line.
And down on the turf, this may be a costly last play for West Deptford. It looks like it's Gismondi, Paz Gismondi, or no, I'm sorry, it looks like Alex Malcolm.
it looks like he's clutching on to his knee, which is never a good situation. But, boy, that was playing with fire with 8 seconds to go. I mean, if Buena had wanted, they'd let him go all the way down to the 1 yard line when he couldn't score and run the clock out. Instead, it's 2.1 seconds to go on the setup for a field goal. But the concern now, watch it again. Watch the Malcolm as he comes outside. We'll see if it's the cut. He was hit right on his left knee on that tackle that was made very well by Buena's number 10.
Cruz. You know, that's a situation, too, with 8 seconds left. Maybe as a coach, you tell the guys, listen, if they're going to run the football, don't tackle him, hold him up.
Yes.
A round of applause for Alex Malcolm.
He is hobbling off to the applause of the crowd, but it looks like he's in great difficulty here.
So West Deptford calls timeout, and Malcolm looks like he is in a lot of pain. That will cast some doubt as to whether or not we'll see him in the second half.
The good news is set up for field goal for West Deptford. When they thought they might have been going down 10-7 in the halftime, it could be 10-10, and they get the ball to start period number 3.
Well, it's been an interesting first half. As soon as you think you have it figured out, something new happens. Just as you thought Buena would head to the locker room, it's with momentum. It's West Deptford now who will look to tie things up. Mike Bilodeau on to attempt the kick. Ball spotted at the 15. The kick is no good.
Kick is blocked.
Kick is blocked. So West Deptford heads to the locker room without Malcolm and without points.
And given a last-minute little surge to Buena for stopping them in that situation.
After one half of play.
Here's the kick again. It looks like Bilodeau gets his set, tries to draw it, and it looked like sometimes it came low. It looked like it was actually touched as it came over the line of scrimmage.
It actually looked like it was blocked by the underside of his forearm. So he didn't even have to elevate to block that kick. But nonetheless, Buena will head to the locker room with a 3-point lead. Your Atlantic City Electric game of the week. It's the Group 2 semifinals. We'll have second half action for you in just a moment. Welcome back. Beautiful shot of the Philadelphia skyline here from West Deptford High School, where the Eagles trail the Chiefs 10-7. About to kick off this second half, and we are underway. Long line drive taken inside the 10-yard line. West Deptford runs it out and down at the 28-yard line. First and 10 Eagles. There's a lot to talk about in that first half, but maybe the biggest thing is the loss of Malcolm.
Yeah, and they were especially depleted with Coran not being able to play. If we look at the statistics in the first half, probably the thing that jumps out to you first is that West Deptford has almost as many passing yards as they have rushing yards. I don't know whether that's ever happened. They were basically two big plays. You can see 178 yards rushing for Buena in the first half, pretty much expected. 12 yards passing, both 5 first downs and plays in favor of Buena.
So they will stick to the ground, will West Deptford. Not much there to start this second half. We pick up right where things left off. As you mentioned, those 2 passing plays, 2 of the last 3 plays in that first half,
in which we already picked up the yardages. Now, both teams, again, well coached, go into halftime. They see the things that they didn't expect. They make their adjustments. They see the things that are working. They make their changes. And now we'll see them, what they are when they come out here for period number 3.
Second down. Diaco dropped in the backfield, and this Buena defense has showed up.
Boy, that's for sure. And what they did is the first time they gave a belly play to the fullback and saw Diaco escaped outside, nobody covered him. They went right back then to the belly keep with the option run for Diaco, and Buena just stayed disciplined and made the big loss.
So third down and 11. West Deptford, as we mentioned, some success via the air to end that first half. Quick drop. Has a man across the middle. It's Gismondi. And West Deptford picks up a big first down.
Great throw there by Diaco. We've said pretty much today that every time West Deptford wanted to throw the football, that receivers have been open. And that was definitely true on that case.
That's a big play for West Deptford.
Again, great vision by Diaco. Ball's right on the money on that quick slant pattern there to Gismondi.
So West Deptford able to generate some momentum. First and 10 now at their 43-yard line. Handoff, Gismondi inside, driving forward, still working, picking up a couple extra. Gain of 5, second and 5.
Great leg drive there by Gismondi. There's an old axiom in football that says the passing game sets up the running game, or the running game sets up the passing game, and that's what we're seeing so far here at half number 2.
A good spot puts the ball at the 49-yard line, so we'll call it second down and 4 for the Eagles. Diaco again with Gismondi in the backfield. Hamilton on the carry, and Hamilton will burrow forward for the first down.
And Rob, this is what we said last week, and we're seeing again right now. Great push off the offensive line being made by West Deptford to come out in the second half. They're driving off the ball, and they're knocking their defender backwards instead of forwards.
Well, we have an injury on the field to a Buena Chief. You know, we talked about how that third down was critical for the momentum and maybe the psyche of West Deptford. That was the first time they were successful tonight on a third down conversion.
And that's really interesting because that's usually one of their fortes, that they get into that. But it was, for us in the situation, it's always forward. West Deptford is always thinking about moving the ball forward. If we look at it again, you can look at something. These are the scores for Buena. Bridgeton's in the South Jersey Group 3 playoffs. Cedar Creek's in the other side. That's their only loss, which would basically cause, because Cedar Creek really threw the ball well. After that, we just take off. Buena takes off, beating Middle Township, Oakcrest, Holy Spirit, mainly in a team that qualified for the Group 4, Pleasantville, Caravel, and Delaware, and then Lower Cape May, and in that great win last week against a very powerful Cinnaminson team.
Well, Bridgeton and Cedar Creek still playing football as we speak, so that speaks to the strength of this Buena football team. There you get a good look at some of the crowd here at West Deptford on this cold evening. Hot chocolate selling well.
And a great night to be a linebacker and lay a hit on one of the running backs.
First down after the carry by Dave Hamilton, and we're going to see a lot more of Hamilton in the second half as a result of that injury to Malcolm. There you see Hamilton at the bottom of your screen. 1st and 10. Handoff Gismondi. Gismondi with a lot of room into the secondary. Gismondi drives forward, first down.
Boy, straight ahead West Deptford football. Blocker on defender and just leg drive. Gismondi straight ahead for yards.
Well, Gismondi looked like he was kind of hobbling in the first half. He jumped right out of there. Maybe it's kind of like how I wake up in the morning. A little tight initially, and then finally the blood starts pumping.
Boy, that's for me too. I can definitely understand that.
1st down and 10, and West Deptford starting to roll. Diaco hands inside, and again, a pickup of about 3 or 4. And you're getting a good push now by that West Deptford interior.
Yeah, it all starts up front, and a good running back will tell you that he's only as good as the people up front. That centers, the guards, the tackles, getting off the football, driving their men downfield, positive yardage for the running backs.
Ball spotted right at the 30-yard line. So a 2nd down now. We'll call it 6. As you see, clock continues to move. It's been a fast-paced game here at West Deptford. A great battle here on your Atlantic City Electric Game of the Week. Diaco fakes, throws, just too high, looking for Paz Gismondi.
And once again, nice little waggle action there to keep the linebackers and all the interior people from Buena honest in that situation. Gismondi's now up to 50 yards rushing, so he's really motoring the football in this second half.
3rd and 6. Were you surprised they went to the air there?
Yeah, really. I think the only thing that they're thinking at this time is that the pass sets up the run sets up the pass. They're really in 4-down offense area right now, so I think he likes his chances 2 plays for 6 yards.
Good point. 3rd down. The handoff to Hamilton, and Hamilton will pick up 1 at most. And as you mentioned, this is 4-down territory. That'll bring up a 4th down and about 4.
First time West Deptford has shown that. It's a counter play. They used to call it single back in the old time, where he comes back again. The guards go one way, the back goes the opposite way, but Buena stayed home and made the play.
Well, West Deptford has had success moving the football. Again, unable to do so on 3rd down. 1 for 5. Here's Diaco, throws, has his man, and in and out of the hands of his intended receiver. Thrown a little bit behind Paz Gismondi, and that will be turned over on downs. Buena will take over.
So the end of the drive comes quickly. That pass was there, but just it looked like Gismondi just lost his feet for a minute, and the pass was incomplete. So Buena, despite giving it, we watch it again. Here's Wasiako, 3-step drop, quick release, and just a little bit to the outside, but good coverage there by our Buena receiver.
Albright doing a little bit of everything tonight. A lot of two-way players on both of these teams. And you can see 7:36 left. That was the first possession of the second half. So you're not going to get a lot of opportunities here the way that they keep the ball on the ground, although that first quarter was a punt fest.
That's correct. And it looks like Buena is just coming out doing the exact same things they have, although we do have a new running back that's in the game, Colton Jones, into the lineup here for a portion time for Buena.
Not much after the pickup of 2, a long 8 here for the Chiefs. And again, we see the same scenario with Rainier looking to the sidelines. Crouch inside, Crouch driving forward, and now finally stopped.
And again, just great defense by West Deptford. There was no push by the Buena lineman whatsoever. Interesting that the field judge, our back judge that's back here standing on the 45-yard line, was counting down towards the end of a delay of game situation for Buena. They just got that play off.
3rd down. We'll call it 6. 6:24 remaining. Buena on top, 10-7. Rainier looking over his offense. He has Crouch in the backfield. Rainier rolls, has time, looks, throws it up.
Yeah, nobody open whatsoever, and kind of a unique situation there. He just taught to throw the ball out of bounds, but not really a good first offensive series by Buena, and a great stop there by West Deptford.
3 and out for Buena. Again, they were forced to punt it away. Deptford back to receive the punt at the 36-yard line, and again another bad snap.
Back will go with the fair catch.
Okay.
So the ball taken at the 47-yard line, and again it is West Deptford that is winning the special teams battle.
Yeah, absolutely correct. And great field. Again, a short field situation for West Deptford. That's exactly what they want. I think you'll see them keep it on the ground this series and just try to pound away at Buena.
1st and 10, Diaco and the Eagles in excellent field position. Buena looks like they may have jumped off sides. Handoff, it's Gismondi across the 40-yard line. Gismondi thrown down at the 36. A big pickup for West Deptford and deep now into Buena territory.
And great hole open by the lineman from West Deptford. You watch this again. It's just an outside belly. Here's the move by Gismondi. Look at the blocking up front. Look at the hole. I think even I could run through that one for at least a yard. But a great effort right there by Gismondi.
Rayshawn Cruz on the tackle for Buena. 1st and 10, West Deptford. Is Gismondi right up the middle. And Gismondi powers his way forward with a pickup of 5.
And punishing running. He finished off that run by just drilling Justin Inman of Buena.
Ball at the 31-yard line, and you get a sense that there is renewed confidence in this West Deptford football team. 22 yards on the last 2 plays combined by Gismondi. We mentioned no Dozier, no Malcolm. They're going to have to dig deep if they want to head to the championship game. Diaco. Hands, it's another dose of Gismondi, and he stopped, maybe a pickup of 1.
And Eddie Torres coming out from his outside linebacker spot really stepped down to make that play. Just put a bear hug on Gismondi to bring him right down.
So at the 30-yard line, it'll be a short 4 yards, 4 minutes, 30 seconds remaining in this third quarter. Gismondi has had a good day, 73 yards on the evening. Buena almost jumps off sides. Diaco hands off, it's Hamilton, and Hamilton is dropped for a loss.
Very interesting call. They went outside on the sweep and well defended outside by Buena. Now sets up a very unique situation because Clyde could punt the ball, knock him down deep, and that looks like what he's going to do.
Well, you know, Fred, we've talked about the turf repeatedly. If he can land the ball even inside the 5-yard line, you don't have to worry about it rolling into the end zone tonight. So they are in punt formation, and it looks like it is Jackson back to receive. High kick, it's Albright. Fair catch at the 6-yard line. Your thoughts on opting to punt there?
I think it's a good move because
agree.
Buena has not shown that he can come right out in the second. I'm a little worried about the decision to make a fair catch on the 6-yard line. We used to always tell our kids to put their heels on the 10-yard line. If it went over your head, let it go in the end zone. But your comment about the field might be the true statement.
I haven't seen a ball roll more than a yard tonight. So Clyde Folsom playing the conditions. An excellent punt pins Buena back, their worst field position of the evening. And a 3-and-out will result in excellent field position for West Deptford, but they've got to get there first. Rainier has Crouch in the backfield, and he'll give it to Crouch. Crouch on his way. Crouch carrying the load well into the secondary. A big pickup by the big senior fullback.
And boy, that is very well said. When you're back in lining up in your own end zone and you're fullback can just watch him right here, just blast out, good vision, keeping moving the ball. First down, Buena, out of the end zone area.
A huge play, as now they are in excellent field position considering where they started. Now at the 22-yard line, some breathing room for this offense.
And that was a great play out there by the cornerback. West Deptford's cornerback just held his ground, made the play, come back inside. The linebacker scraped right outside and planted him to the ground.
Kyle Garrison has also been impactful tonight. 2nd down and 9 after the short pickup for the Chiefs. Again, a quickly played third quarter as we approach just 150 seconds remaining. And they're going to go back to the big guy, Crouch, and you see some of that power as he tries to force his will. That'll bring up a 3rd down for the Chiefs.
But really a plus that time for West Deptford. He went straight ahead with a lot of momentum, picked up 4 yards, but sets up a 4th and 4, which will be a very interesting call for Buena. Excuse me, 3rd and 4.
3rd down and 4. Again, we've seen some success from Albright and Crouch on the ground. We'll see whether or not Rainier opts to throw the football here. Maxwell in motion. And they play it conservatively and not a whole lot there. Buena maybe picks up a yard. Maybe most importantly, able to get out of their own end zone.
Yeah, that's a good situation, but it's still going to be a punt for 4th down. It'll be interesting to see in here. Buena has to punt because there was more than 25 seconds remaining before the end of the half.
There you see Karan Dozier and Clyde Folsom. Dozier in the black jacket. So West Deptford again will get this ball in excellent field position. The punt is a low line drive and it bounces at the 47. The longest roll of the night will end up at the 38-yard line. But West Deptford still with excellent field position to start this drive as we again are inside of 1 minute remaining in this third quarter.
And it was interesting, the return man signaled fair catch and then ran away from the ball in that situation, whether that was just a ruse to try to get him out of the way. But usually when you fair catch, you try to catch the ball. Crouch right now at 114 yards on 13 carries. So he's been the mainstay of the Buena offense.
Diaco will try to engineer a winning drive here. Gismondi picks up about 4. 2nd down. Clock continues to move, and you see Gismondi, who has really been beat up, and you can see he's favoring one leg. West Deptford is kind of on vapor right now after losing Dozier before the game. What I was told was a knee injury. They hope to have him back in the state championship game, but they have to get through Buena first. And now Malcolm, they lost the last play in the first half. Gismondi does not look 100%. Diaco keeps. Diaco into the secondary. Diaco still on his feet, driving forward, spins and thrown down, but not before picking up a big first down.
And boy, that is for sure great open vision there by Diaco. And I'll tell you what, Rob, this offense right now is really punishing the up front people of Buena. It's got to make a big effect on them on quarter number 4. Just watch his effort. Great vision, running over people.
That'll be the last play of the third quarter.
And that'll be the end of quarter number 3.
Well, we've had ourselves a well-played first 3 quarters. And these two teams, very familiar with one another, have had some great battles. It looks to be another one tonight. Buena heads to the 4th quarter with a 3-point lead. Welcome back, 4th quarter. Hamilton, the first carry of this 4th quarter, and a successful one. They're going to need a lot of Hamilton here because, as we mentioned, no Malcolm, no Dozier, and Gismondi a huge question mark.
And they're also going to rely a lot on the legs and the arm of Nicky Diaco, who seems to relish the situation of doing something in big situations.
Second down and 5.
Gismondi is in the game and in the backfield set to the right of Diaco. Again, it's Diaco on the carry. Diaco slips.
Well, I still think this situation, I think Clyde will go for 4-down offense in here because he wants to get points. He wants to get back at least even at this particular game situation. We'll see if they go to the air here because the receivers have been open.
Third down. West Deptford has struggled on third down, just 1 for 5 on the evening. Handoff, Gismondi. On his way, Gismondi. Still on his feet. What tremendous balance, still driving forward. And finally slammed down. And that's going to result in a penalty.
Yeah, a little lack of patience or discipline there by Buena on the finish. Frustrating that they couldn't get Gismondi down and just delivered a late shot there. And that's going to be not only a first down, but more because of the penalty. You'll see it in here. Watch Gismondi's legs and drive. He just never stops running. He keeps going. He puts his hand down. He keeps drumming. They're grabbing for the football. He can't get him out. And they slam him down to the ground, and that brings out the flag.
Well, that's the type of play that may define this football game. Unnecessary roughness will be marked off against Buena. Well, we've seen that a penalty deep in their defensive end has hurt Buena in the first half, yielding the only touchdown of the game for West Deptford. Again, history may repeat itself. First down and 10 on the 11-yard line. Diaco keeps. Diaco driving forward, and Diaco finally cut down L.J. Maldonado, stopping the surge of Diaco.
Yeah, direct snap to Diaco. He has vision to look to see exactly where he can go and goes straight ahead, picks up 3, sets up a 2nd and 7.
West Deptford in excellent position to go ahead here. Their only previous field goal attempt was blocked. That ended the first half. Diaco hands to Gismondi. Gismondi stopped at about the 5-yard line. A critical third down here.
And we have another flag in the backfield. It's going to be a late hit on Diaco by the defensive player from Buena. That's going to be an automatic first down and goal to go for the Eagles.
I did not see the play, Fred, as I was looking at the pile.
After Diaco handed the ball off, he was hit behind the line of scrimmage by the defensive lineman for Buena, right in front of the referee. That'll give them the first down, and it'll be goal to go.
You know, that's kind of tough. I didn't see the play, but a lot of these times when you have quarterbacks doing the zone read, you have to continue with the play and anticipate that he's going to keep the football.
And that's a very, very good point, and that's really taught a lot of times to do that. The official this time had no questions. He threw the flag. It's going to be down inside the 4-yard and 3-yard line.
So half the distance to the goal line. First and goal for the Eagles.
Actually, they didn't give him first down. How about that?
So actually third and goal. You are correct. Third and goal. Gismondi in the backfield. Diaco hands to Gismondi. Gismondi drives forward. Touchdown!
Again, penalties really making a big difference on this drive, but great effort by Gismondi to get into the end zone.
Well, what you just saw was a team essentially implode.
That's correct. 2 back-to-back penalties, or 2 penalties in that drive that just really killed them.
We talked about the discipline that was needed from this Buena team, and frankly, when they needed it most, they have not had it.
That's correct.
The extra point is up, and it's good. West Deptford takes the lead on a Gismondi 2-yard touchdown run. I guess officially it's 3 yards.
And here we go. Here's Gismondi, straight belly, just driving. There was no way he was going to be stopped from getting a touchdown. Great effort by Gismondi. Also, that extra point will be very important because now it takes a touchdown to beat them, not a field goal to tie them.
Gismondi with both touchdowns and 91 yards on the evening. So he's in an interesting night. We talked about how earlier it looked like he was banged up. Then all of a sudden he had new life and then kind of spiked like a football on the ground and answered back with the touchdown run.
Well, earlier the West Deptford coaches said he's like a throwback. He's like an old-time player that just won't stop. And I think that's what we'd see tonight.
No matter what happens here, you cannot question the heart of this West Deptford football team. Again, deep in the reserves, forced to alter their game plan, losing their number 1 back before the game, and a critical component of their football team in Malcolm prior to the end of the first half.
In the old days, we used to call that, Rob, a character drive.
Well, and that's exactly what Buena's going to need. There you see Gismondi. And again, a lot of heart in that 195-pound frame of Gio Gismondi. Bilodeau to kick it off. It's a squib kick and down on a knee, taken at about the 27-yard line. First and 10 Chiefs. I think if Sean Rice had to do it over again, he would have stayed on his feet. He had some room, but opted to go to a knee, and in high school football, that means you're downing it.
Now, we just talked about character drive by West Deptford. Now it's a gut check drive for Buena. Buena has to move the football in this drive for nothing more than their psyche if they get the ball back. They have to know they can advance and move the ball down the football field.
Now the cheerleaders, they do push-ups after they score, and I think they do the number of push-ups as to how many points they have. This is a team that racks up some serious points, Fred. I'm looking out there. There's about a dozen girls that could whoop you easily.
I don't have any doubt in my mind on that. They scored over 60 points in 4 games.
Flag on the play.
Penalty flag here. And we're going to see
in the area holding. And that could be a death blow. Oh, look at this. It's going to be a dead ball foul against West Deptford for taunting.
Personal foul against West Deptford.
How about that?
That's probably a personal foul. Taunting would be an unsportsmanlike conduct.
Okay.
So maybe a late hit there. And again, we talked about the need for discipline. West Deptford, your first instinct is to kind of pay someone back, but they have to hold it together here.
That's for sure.
Ball at the 44-yard line, and now we have motion or someone jumping off sides.
Yeah, we had 2 backs in motion at that time, and that's a no-no unless you immediately set up. And the 1 back just kept in motion. That's a 5-yard penalty.
Or it's the Canadian Football League.
Yeah, that's a pretty good deal.
Well, a relatively cleanly played first half outside of that 1 penalty that Buena yielded. Now all of a sudden has changed dramatically.
Yeah, that's really interesting. And now look at this. They're going to waive off the penalty, saying that the back had the right to reset. And Coach Folsom is really livid because the back has to immediately reset, and he did not.
First and 10, Chiefs, 9:20 and counting. Pitch, Albright kicks it outside. Albright across midfield. Albright cut down, close to a first down. It looks like he'll have enough.
And that again that's a big morale booster. First of all, you get the first down on the penalty. Now you're able to get a first down on your run. You're moving down into West Deptford territory. This could be an exciting finish.
You can see why Buena is so tough to defend. They just bully you with Crouch and then ignite things with Albright to the outside. First and 10, Albright in motion. It's Albright again. Albright cuts it back inside, pushes forward for about 3 or 4.
And you talk about offense in this situation. There's 8 minutes to go plus in the game. You'd love to be able to drive the football down and score with about a minute to go. I don't know whether that's going to be possible because West Deptford.
So Albright now over the century mark. Each of their thunder and lightning, if you will, over the century mark. Second down. Handoff. Albright cuts it outside. Albright in trouble. Albright still struggling, and he'll lose yards.
And there's a flag down in the field, dropped in the secondary. So this will be an interesting call. The flag's picked up by one of West Deptford's defenders. He's being told, put that flag right back.
I like that. If it's a spot foul, then West Deptford, I'll just move this for you a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
So it looks like it's going to go against Buena as they're coming over to discuss things, I believe, with Clyde Folsom.
Penalty declined by West Deptford, which will make it 3rd and 9.
So the penalty is declined. 3rd down and 9 for Rainier and the Chiefs. Again, neither team overly successful on 3rd down this evening. Rainier with Albright in motion. Goes to Crouch. Crouch drives forward and leans. So decision time here. 4th down and about 2, Fred.
And I think that decision was made on that last run. I think they were going to punt the ball if they didn't gain any positive yardage. I think they're going to go for it now, because the worst that can happen is that West Deptford takes over on the 38-yard line.
4th down and 2 at the 37-yard line, inside of 8 minutes remaining. Rainier. And we have a penalty flag here.
And that's going to be on Buena for illegal procedure. It's now going to back it up 5 yards, and I think now that will change the decision, and I think you'll see Buena punt the football.
False start against Buena.
Well, as we mentioned before, Fred, you talked about the need for discipline earlier in the game.
It's fallen down in the second half.
It really is, and it's funny because discipline usually rears its head when the pressure's on.
That's a very, very astute point. And I will tell you, that has shown.
So interestingly, they are still going to go for it. Little surprised here. 4th down and 7. Albright in motion. Rainier back to pass. Has a man, throws it up, tipped, incomplete.
Great defensive play. The receiver was open.
And look who it is, Gio Gismondi.
Wow. Football's a game of inches, and you'll see if we have a replay of this, watch how close this is to becoming complete, but watch the effort of Gismondi. Receiver that's just a great defensive play.
And a heads-up play also there by Kyle Garrison. He could have picked that off. He decided to let it drop and allow his team to have superior field position. Big 4th down stop by West Deptford. 1st and 10, handoff Gismondi, and nothing doing there.
And now playing into West Deptford's hands where they could go on a nice drive. They don't even have to score. All they have to do is eat up as much possible clock as they can.
Coming in, Ryan Baglivo, who has been your punt returner. And Gismondi in the backfield. We've also seen steady doses of Dave Hamilton. Diaco by himself, cut down. They'll pick up maybe 3, and that'll bring up a long 3rd down.
And we used to call that play the old naked bootleg, but Diaco just is well trained in the fact that he's not going to fumble the ball, but it's an interesting 3rd down situation. Now hold in the back of your hands. West Deptford wants to use up as much clock as they possibly can, but a pass here might not be a bad option.
Still plenty of time for Buena if they can stop them here. Approaching the 6-minute mark. 3rd down and long. Diaco, quick drop with time. Now flushed out of the pocket. Diaco keeps. Diaco beats Albright across midfield. 1st down, Diaco.
Out of bounds at the Buena 43-yard line.
Boy, there is guts and courage right there shown He set up, his receiver was covered, he came outside, gave a little pump fake to freeze the Buena defender. Watch this, he sees nobody's open, he comes up, watch him do a little pump fake right here, and now takes off downfield. Great move.
That's just a terrible play by Kadir Albright. Instead of wrapping him up, he literally went upside down head first, and Diaco simply trampled over him. Kadir Albright, one of the players that was involved in that personal foul, and a big first down by the Eagles. Handoff, Gismondi powers forward, Gismondi inside the 30-yard line.
Just straight power football. West Deptford now feels it. I think there's a little deflatement in Buena, even though there shouldn't be. But boy, that's great football right there by your fullback.
Again, every time Gismondi comes, I don't know if you remember, Fred, but this goes way back. Franco Harris, when he used to carry the ball, every time he got up, it looked like he got hit by a steamroller, right? It just never looked like he was 100%. That's kind of what you see in Gismondi.
And it's true.
I don't know, maybe that's a style or whether he is.
I don't know either, but he seems like he wants the football. I bet he carries the ball. He now has 105 yards on 20 carries.
Handoff inside Gismondi. Hit in the solar plexus. Maybe a gain of 2.
But again, the scoreboard's on the side of West Deptford. The clock's ticking down. You've got more points than Buena. Buena still has all 3 timeouts remaining. It's going to be coming down to where they're going to have to start using their timeouts.
Well, I'll tell you what, we talked in the open about Nick Diaco really needing to step up without Dozier. He has done just that. He has had some big runs tonight.
Definitely shown the courage that a fullback needs to play fullback for West Deptford.
2nd down and 9, and now it looks like Clyde Folsom's going to call timeout.
Yeah, he saw something that he didn't like and immediately called timeout to the official that was right there.
And again, this is what we talked about before. He's not afraid to call a timeout. You know, a lot of people say, well, why are we burning a timeout here? Get the play right.
Correct.
And we saw how that paid dividends in the first half.
And again, I'll tell you a good thing, Coach Folsom. There used to be a thing that said practice makes perfect. And that's good enough. Not good enough for him. His perfect practice makes perfect. Everything has to be the right way. That's why West Deptford wins so many championships and wins so many games. But now if you're sitting at Buena, you have to make the stop here. You can't allow them to get a first down, because a first down is going to take 2 more minutes off the clock.
There you see the schedule that West Deptford has run through this year. Of course, undefeated coming into tonight. Look at that. 61, 62, 62, and 66 points. That's a lot of push-ups, Fred.
Absolutely. Ouch when I see 66 against Audubon, too. But that is just such typical West Deptford. They just play to perfection. They're never satisfied unless it's done correctly.
That's usually the difference between a champion and an also-ran.
Absolutely correct.
2nd down and 9. Gismondi with the handoff. Falls forward, and he'll be shy of the first down. A makeable 3rd down now, about 4 to go.
And again, I think West Deptford will go to 4-down offense. There will be no long field goal. It's try to get the first down, because every time you can run at least 2 minutes off the clock will force Buena to use their timeouts.
Heading out is Kyle Gottschall to run the play out. They're in a hurry. Diaco with Gismondi in the backfield. And the handoff instead goes to Hamilton. It looks like he's going to have enough for the first down. It will depend on the spot.
And again, Coach Folsom is watching the back judge, and he's sending the play out when he can so he can maximize the time. But right now we have an official's timeout on the play. He's trying to use as much of the 25 seconds as he can to use the time. Watch this play again by Robinson. Power off tackle, leg drive, first down. Good block in there made by number 68, Ryan Jupin.
So we have our measurement here, and Fred, it looked from here that he had enough for the first down. We'll take a look.
I will think he's got it by 2 chain lengths.
He's short.
Oh my. Well, there goes the eyes.
So decision time here.
No decision. Go for it.
Yep.
go for it, because the very worst thing that could ever happen to you is they got to go 82 yards for a touchdown. Good thing is you get a first down, they have to use their timeouts.
Well, this obviously a big play in this football game. If West Deptford gets the first down, at the very least, they're going to force Buena to burn some timeouts.
And a very interesting situation in here. If it's me, straight ahead with Diaco on the quarterback sneak.
This is just kind of who wants it a little bit more. 4th down and inches, the 8th play of this drive. Diaco, hands, Gismondi, first down.
First down, Eagles.
Well, great effort again. The back that wants it and wants the yards, and there was nothing going to stop him from the first down. Now a real difficult situation for Buena. The clock's now running down to 3.5 minutes. West Deptford's going to be in no hurry to run off a play.
Little surprised they did not burn a timeout there. Gismondi,
Yeah,
one of the things that I've been impressed with, not only is he powerful, and not only has he illustrated great heart, but he has shown some tremendous balance.
Yes, and I'll tell you what, he's everything that was geared up.
First down, and again, continuing to pound the ball on the ground. This drive has taken up over 4 minutes of clock, and now Buena burns a timeout.
Yeah, Coach Caputo came right out on the field to signal timeout. They have to hope that they can stop West Deptford here, and at the very worst, West Deptford kicks a field goal and makes it 17-10, then he could come back and score. The danger right now is that no matter what transpires, Buena hasn't shown where they're a big play offense right now, and that's going to be very difficult.
There have been no turnovers in tonight's game,
which is very unusual.
There you see Clyde Folsom talking to his troops in the huddle, and I'm sure what we just mentioned is one of the things that he's reinforcing. Hold on to that football.
And that's why Gismondi's a good choice, because I don't think he's ever going to give up the ball. He's now up well over 100 yards, 117 yards of rushing. So he's everything that's been built up to be.
Well, we have 3 different players with over 100 yards tonight.
Tremendous.
Just as build.
That's exactly right. We said they're mirror images of each other. That's what they've been.
So Folsom urging his troops on. 2nd down and 9. And Buena's championship hopes are on the line right here. Hamilton and Gismondi in the backfield. Diaco hands it off. No, he keeps. Diaco drives, and he'll fall inside the 10-yard line. And again, another timeout here. Well in field goal position.
Yeah, there's 2 ways that you can look at the situation. There are some that say don't kick the field goal because it can get blocked, and somebody could pick it up. And the worst case scenario is if you don't get the touchdown, they've got to go the length of the football field. The other factor is it makes it a 7-point game. I think West Deptford will shun the field goal and try this for 2 plays and run the first down.
Interesting. You know, a lot of times in the NFL or a Division I college program, there's a certain thing that you do in a certain situation. I think in high school football, it really speaks to how confident am I in this particular unit as to whether or not they can execute what I'm asking them to execute.
And again, in high school football, nothing's automatic. So that's another issue that comes down.
There you see the head coach of Buena, Jonathan Caputo, and obviously a little nervous here. This is a Buena team that has not been successful against West Deptford, have not beaten West Deptford in their last 4 tries. 3rd down. Handoff, Gismondi. Drives forward, Gismondi, touchdown!
When in doubt, give it to your best runner for the night, and that's Gismondi. Great effort. Great situation now for the West Deptford Eagles to make another return to Rowan University.
Well, what can you say about that young man? 3 touchdowns tonight, one more impressive than the next. And West Deptford looking to add an exclamation point to the lead that they've established here. Kick is up and good.
You know, there's a real axiom that you give game balls to the player that you think made the difference in the game, and to give in mind to number 20.
Well, Fred, you know, when we look back at this game, first of all, the first person you got to talk about is that guy right there.
Oh my God, and just there was nothing going to deny him from scoring the touchdown.
The other thing that you have to talk about is Buena, as I mentioned before, kind of imploding.
And I think that's well placed. Teams that really have the heart, the desire, the training come through in the fourth quarter. And West Deptford did, and Buena struggled.
A couple missed tackles along the way, a couple penalties. You know, and that's the difference between winning a championship and not getting there.
That's absolutely correct. You know, somebody one time said there's like 8 plays that make the difference in a football game. All those 8 plays have gone against Buena.
Well, they're going to need a positive return on this kick. As you've said before, this is not an offense that moves down the field quickly. So they're going to hope that special teams will carry them here. It is a 2-score difference, and the kick is a squib kick taken at the 31-yard line. And driving forward to about the 43, Buena will start a critical drive here with 2:46 remaining.
And since Buena's already played 9 football games or 10 football games, they do not have a Thanksgiving Day game. So this drive is the end of your season or the continuation of your season. And you need to score and then get an onside kick.
First and 10 from the 43.
They trail by 11, so theoretically they could get a field goal and a touchdown with a 2-point conversion. Rainier back to pass, and it's tipped. Knocked down at the line of scrimmage.
And this makes it really interesting because as a defensive coordinator, you know what Buena has to do. They're not going to be able to run that ball every play of the game, and you now just send your linemen loose. You say, go get the quarterback. Defenders, cover the receivers. All we have to do is make one thing happen bad for Buena. The game's over.
2nd down and 10. Remember, in high school football, the clock stops to move the chains after a first down. Buena down to just 1 timeout left. Rainier back to pass. With time, now rolls to his right. He'll keep Rainier, and he'll wisely step out of bounds.
And great play, and then by Rainier just to get positive out of it. There was nobody open. West Deptford secondary just dropping back, covering saying that nobody can get behind them because they cannot give up a big play right now.
3rd down and 4.
4 down offense for Buena.
Tyler Rainier had some success early in the game throwing the football. Since then, it's been tough going. Handoff, and not a lot there. Ball looks like it's loose.
Crowd's on the carry.
Did the whistle blow?
Pushes forward.
They say it did, so
and it
4th
does.
down. Clock continuing to move now, 2:15 and counting.
Good news was they got it close enough that just a regular play should get them the first down. But here's the ball game on the line for Buena. They don't get it, it's over.
The pitch. Albright cuts it outside. He's stopped. Albright is stopped.
Boy, interesting call that they decided to go outside with Albright.
Buena turns it over on down.
And that is going to do it for the West Deptford Eagles. They're going to make a return to the sectional championship once again.
Well, this is a football team that we've seen over the years you can never count out. Of course, they kept it close, but, you know, odds kind of against them. You lose your number 1 back, and then you lose a weapon in Malcolm. Gismondi looks like he's a little bit banged up, but they always seem to find a way.
And that's what good teams do. Good teams always find a way.
156. Buena has the ability to call one timeout and one timeout only.
And that should probably come after the next play. Nope, he's going to call right now. All right, so if we figure there's 25 seconds for each play, after this play goes off, if there's 3 or 4 seconds inside the play, you could eat up about 75 seconds. So there's a chance Buena will get the ball back, but it's only going to be about 30 seconds left in the game, and they need 2 scores.
Well, you kind of got a sense that this West Deptford crowd, nervous throughout, now the ability to exhale and enjoy a festive Friday evening in West Deptford.
The only thing you want to do, I'm sure Clyde Folsom's reminding all his backs, cover the tip of the football, cover it with both hands, gain a little bit of yards or time, and then go down, because we don't need a first down. We don't need a touchdown. All we need is 1 minute and 49 seconds to come off the clock.
West Deptford, no stranger to the South Jersey Championship, and it looks like they'll be on their way to Rowan in 2 short weeks. Second down, right up the gut. Gismondi still driving forward, and he'll be stopped just shy of the first down. Had he gotten the first down, then this game would have definitely been over, if it isn't already.
Yeah, it'll be 3rd and 1. West Deptford will definitely use as much time as they want. They've got two downs to go 1 yard. As soon as they get that 1 yard, it's victory offense and game over.
Again, there's just been so many big plays tonight for West Deptford. Diaco has led all night long. Gismondi drives forward, and that will do it for this football game as he gets the first down and the clock continues to move. They can just take a knee and call it a night.
Yeah, this is the best formation you can do in football. Victory formation, protect that quarterback. There's 55 seconds. They stop the clock to move the chains. But basically what we're saying is West Deptford just has to kneel down twice.
So again, just 55 seconds left here. West Deptford will have an opportunity to meet Haddonfield, but Cedar Creek at the time of this taping has the lead in that game. Either way, it should be an excellent Group 2 final. And West Deptford will head into that game with a lot of momentum.
The official's smart. He'll signal the game going into play when it gets to 24. And that way the game will be over. That's what Coach Folsom was asking for. It really doesn't matter because the game's over.
West Deptford, a big comeback victory, defeating Buena by the score of 21-10. They will head to the Group 2 championship game. Stick around. Post-game interviews and a wrap after this.
The second next football game will be next Saturday. Both are hosted.
Welcome back to West Deptford High School. Rob Christ here with winning head coach Clyde Folsom. West Deptford victorious 21-10 in a hard-fought victory, a tremendous comeback win. And Coach Folsom, you've been through this so many times. I know that, for you, this is just kind of rote, just kind of before the season starts. We know we're going to see you in the championship game, but something about tonight had to be special.
It was. I mean, we started the season. We were very questionable in terms of where we were going to go. We knew we had hard-working kids. We were relatively young and inexperienced, and we really hadn't had to fight back from any games during the course of the year. We were winning many games by substantial margins. So at halftime, it was concerning how we're going to react to this, and we put it in the offensive lines, put it on their back and said, we got to get this done in the trenches, and they've responded very well. And of course, with Gio Gismondi, how hard he ran, and it was just a real gut check, and our kids really responded well, and they responded in a championship way.
You know, a lot of people probably don't realize I was a student teacher here. It was your first year coaching football at West Deptford. This was a program that was a perennial patsy. Not only have you changed what goes on here, I mean, you are a team that instantly, when you line up on the field, is an intimidating factor. Teams do not want to play you. How have you changed the culture? What's the secret formula?
Well, a lot of people, there's a lot of support. Our the past and present mayors, our Board of Education, our administration, our student body. Our student body loves this program, and in a very positive way. They're always talking to our players, and they're excited about it. And so it wasn't myself. It was many past players, many past coaches that really bought in, worked hard, made a commitment, and and we just we have high expectations, and we work very hard in the off season, and our kids practice well, and that's an expectation that they respond to.
Coach to coach, one of the toughest things to coach is toughness. And tonight, your team had to be tough. You lose Dozier before the game, then Malcolm at halftime, and maybe the toughest kid that I saw tonight was Gismondi. I mean, just a yeoman's effort on his part.
It was. I mean, we're relatively deep in some positions, but they all work equally as hard on the practice field. So when we replace players because of injuries, we have the same confidence in the guys that we put in.
You know, before the game started, we talked a little bit about the need for your quarterback, Diaco, to step up. Talk a little bit about what he brought tonight.
Nick is a tremendous leader. His presence, and the reason we moved him from tight end to quarterback is because of his presence and his leadership. The team and the school responds to him because he's a very intelligent individual who works hard, he's intense, and he's tough.
I know you have another game before the championship game. It looks like Cedar Creek was winning as we tape this. Either way, you're going to have a very difficult opponent. Talk a little bit about whether or not you're going to have Malcolm and or Dozier back.
Well, at this point, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what the injury report on Malcolm is. We hope to have Dozier back on Monday or Tuesday. Right now, once we embrace this win tonight, we're back to the drawing board tomorrow in preparation for Paulsboro, because we need to establish the momentum in and out of that game for the final in 2 weeks.
How difficult is that? I mean, obviously it's a big rivalry, playing them on Thanksgiving, but in the total scheme of things, there's bigger fish to fry. How difficult is that for you to coach in terms of who to play, how often to play, avoiding injury, everything that goes into that?
Now, our philosophy is it doesn't matter who we're playing. We're going to play that next opponent just like it's a championship game. And we're not going to give one away to get to another. We're going to play hard on Saturday, and we're going to go at it like any other opponent.
Coach, I've been watching you for, a couple decades now, and every single game you just impressed me a little bit more. I have the utmost respect for you. Tremendous job by your team, and I wish you the best of luck. A couple guys that were critical to the success of that team, our own Fred Swartz is with them.
Thank you very much. I'm here with our two game ball winners of the day. First, Nick Diaco, our quarterback defensive end. Just tell us what this feels to go back to the championship again.
It's just a great feeling to just regain momentum in this game and go back to the state championship. It's really just an honor to get back to where we used to be. It's great.
Now, if I remember, last year you were tight end.
Yeah.
This year you become quarterback. You also play defensive end. Which do you like the most?
I like offense a lot, just having the ball in my hands, knowing that I can control it, lead the team. I just like it a lot. I mean, I love hitting people too, so defense is great also.
Oh boy, that's spoken like a true football player. The last question he asked, was there any concern when you went into the game halftime behind, probably for the first time this year?
No, there wasn't really any concern. Just we had to change some things around. We regained momentum as soon as we came back out. It was just we had to go and just keep hustling, keep pounding the ball. That was the big key.
And the fourth quarter is always the character quarter. Boy, it sure was West Deptford's quarter tonight.
Yeah, we knew that the weight room was going to take a factor. We knew they were going to break down. We saw a film on them, and they kind of wore down towards the end, and we knew that we would take over.
Well, thank you. We're going to see you down at Rowan University for the championship, but you got a Thanksgiving Saturday game to play before that.
Yeah, Paulsboro is a good team, so we're probably going to focus on them first, watch a lot of film. We don't want to have another recap of last year, don't want to let it get away from us, so we're definitely going to focus on that game before we go.
Well, great job. And now to our other outstanding player of the game. Boy, did he make my heart feel good. First of all, I'm almost as tall as him. That makes me feel really good in that situation. but what an effort you had. You just didn't want to be denied running the football tonight.
I mean, I knew I had to do it for the seniors. They push and they work every day for me, and I knew I had to do it for them.
When I talked to Coach Folsom earlier tonight, he said that you'll like Gio, he's a throwback player. Do you like the tough yards and doing the tough things that you have to do?
I do. I mean, I'm more of a blocker. I like blocking, but you got to do what you got to do.
Boy, that's for sure. And we also noticed when West Deptford got close to the goal line, we knew who was going to get the football. You wanted to score on each of those times, didn't you?
I knew I had to do it. I mean, the seniors, they push every day for me. I just had to do it for them. I mean, I keep repeating myself, but it's true. I just work for them.
Was there any concern when you went into halftime and you were losing, probably for the first time at all this year?
Yeah, I mean, we knew it was a real gut check. I knew Coach was scheming in the back, and he talked to us. We knew what we had to do.
As we just mentioned, the fourth quarter is really the quarter that separates teams. And in the fourth quarter, you guys rose to the occasion.
Weight room.
And that's exactly what Nick Diaker said. Fantastic job. Keep up the good
Thank
work.
you.
And it was just a great effort for you today.
Thank you.
So again, Fred, a tremendous victory here by West Deptford. Again, kind of illustrating the toughness that has become a hallmark of this program.
Yeah, that's for sure. I mean, when you talked earlier about changing the culture of West Deptford is winning and winning championships. And that showed off there. They were not going to be denied in that fourth quarter.
You know, looking at it from the other side of the football, if you're Buena, you have to come away very disappointed. You feel like you had momentum. You certainly had the opportunity to put it away with a lead and a couple critical plays there, and penalties really hurt.
Yeah, I really agree with that. And you have to keep your discipline. We said before how important discipline was to be when you're playing defense. It kind of broke down a little bit for Buena at the end. Coming in, I'm sure they expected to win this game. And I think it's a tough deal, but they had a great season.
They did have a great season, and West Deptford, of course, on their way to another great season. And speaking to Coach Folsom, I love his attitude. He says, you know, we're not going to skip one to set up for another. They're going to go right at Paulsboro next week.
You better believe it. You don't win 238 games by saying, we'll take one off and go on. They're going to be a tremendous threat. They're going to be a threat on that Saturday. They're going to be a threat against either Cedar Creek or Haddonfield in the championship game.
You know, what'll be interesting to see is whether or not Dozier is back. From what I understand, the likelihood is they will have him for the championship game. Malcolm, from what I've been told, is more of a question mark. But if there's one thing we learned tonight is they have some depth there.
Yeah, they sure do. And as long as Coach Folsom's in charge of the program, somebody's going to be ready. There's no ifs, ands, or buts.
Well, ready is part of the fighting cry of this football team. West Deptford comes into every single game ready to win a football game. They've won their fair share. As you mentioned, well over 200 victories in the career of Clyde Folsom, and they're looking to put up one more championship banner, just one win away, and that will be at Rowan University in just a couple weeks. So we'll wrap it up here from West Deptford High School. It was the Eagles victorious by the score of 21-10 over Buena in the Group 2 semifinals. For my partner, Fred Swartz, my director, Stan Ritter, and all the crew, I'm Rob Christ. Thanks for joining us. Good night, everybody.